Mathers, you can come on up to the table up here. We are on the record in this case.
I, Tom Mathers, here, special appearance, reserve all rights, and without prejudice.
Thank you, Mr. Mathers. And for the record, this is case number 26T16, People of the State of Colorado versus Thomas Mathers. Mr. Mathers is here in person. Ms. Marsh is here in person on behalf of the people. We are scheduled for a plea hearing today. I know that you had spoken with the district attorney previously and were thinking about getting an attorney. Could you give me an update on that?
I was actually asked some questions.
Sure.
In the court. The way I understand it is the Constitution grants 2 criminal jurisdictions for us to proceed with, and one being a criminal jurisdiction in common law, and the other one being a term of contracts in admiralty jurisdiction. And I was just wondering which one we are going forth with, or which one, what are the rules of this court is what I'm looking for.
So the jurisdiction of this court is established by the Constitution, as you mentioned, but also by statute, which is a little bit different from the common law, and it's also not a contract. It is pursuant to the statutes of the state of Colorado, which give this court jurisdiction.
So it's statutes.
Correct.
Jurisdiction?
Yeah, statutory. Yep.
Statutory jurisdiction. Where could I find that? Where's the rules and regulations to this?
So they're not rules or regulations, they're statutes, but you can find them in the Colorado Revised Statutes. If you search in those statutes essentially for jurisdiction, you should be able to find them.
So statutory, I don't have a pen.
There should be a pen there.
Statutory jurisdiction, you say?
Yeah, the statute itself is 136106.
106?
Yep, that's at least one of them. The 136106 would be one of those.
Just one of them? I mean, so there's more than one, I'm guessing is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so the Constitution also grants jurisdiction, but 136106 specifically is regard to the criminal jurisdiction of the county court.
What was that again?
It's specifically regarding the criminal jurisdiction of the county court.
So this is it's not municipal then, is what?
Correct, it's not municipal.
Well, I guess I would ask time to research that.
So you want another court date?
Yes, if.
Any objection, Ms. Marsh?
None, Judge.
All right, I'll give you another court date here. And before I give you a new court date, this is just for scheduling purposes, this question. Do you still intend to get an attorney on board in your case, or you don't think?
I'm looking for one, yes. I'm not certain.
Okay, do you think it's going to be a private attorney or the public defender?
I was thinking private.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you for that clarification. I'm not going to hold you to that. I'm only asking that for scheduling purposes. Can you come back on Friday, May 29th at 9:30 a.m.?
May 29th at 9:30?
9:30 a.m. Is that okay?
May 29th. Yeah.
Okay. Is that okay for the people?
That's fine, Judge.
All right. May 29th at 9:30 a.m. then is your next court date, Mr. Mathers. And again, I'll ask you for an update about if you're going to get an attorney, but you can just give me an update on that day. If you decide something different, I'm not going to hold you.
Or he'll, yeah.
All right. That'll conclude your case then, Mr. Mathers. Have a great rest of your day.
Before we dive into today's courtroom chaos, buckle up because this case is a masterclass in how not to defend yourself in court. What you're about to witness is a defendant who seems convinced that simply questioning the court's authority over and over again somehow makes the charges disappear, instead of addressing the allegations directly. He embarks on a journey through some of the most common sovereign citizen talking points, special appearances, admiralty law, common law, personal jurisdiction, and a whole lot of legal concepts that sound impressive until they're tested against actual statutes. Now, here's what makes this hearing fascinating. The judge isn't losing his temper. He's not shutting the defendant down. In fact, he repeatedly gives detailed explanations, cites the law, answers questions, and even offers opportunities for the defendants to move the case forward. But despite all that, you'll notice a recurring pattern. Every answer leads to another question, every explanation leads to another objection, and every clarification somehow circles back to the same misunderstanding as the hearing unfolds. Watch how the judge methodically dismantles each argument while trying to keep the proceedings on track. Pay close attention to the discussion about jurisdiction, please, and the right to remain silent because those topics become the center of a surprisingly long debate. The biggest twist. The defendant seems genuinely convinced that the court entering a not guilty plea on his behalf is somehow unlawful, even though the judge eventually cites the exact statute requiring him to do so. Will the defendant finally enter a plea? Will the jurisdiction arguments gain any traction? Or will this hearing become an endless loop of questions that have already been answered?
And Mr. Mathers, if you'd come on up.
Hi, Tom Felton Mathers, living man and beneficiary, here by special appearance, here to resolve this matter. I reserve all rights and waive none.
Thank you. The court calls case number 26T16, People of the State of Colorado versus Thomas Mathers. Mr. Mathers is here in person. We are on the record. Ms. Marsh is here in person on behalf of the people. We are scheduled for a plea hearing today. Last Friday, when Mr. Mathers was here last, the power went out, so we had to reschedule the case to today so that we could actually make sure we were having a recording. I think before then, Mr. Mathers, you had told me that you were possibly working on retaining private counsel as well as doing some additional research. Could you give me an update on that?
I have questions some questions I'd like answered before, I guess.
Sure. You can ask them, and I may or may not be able to answer them, but I will do my best.
So if we go further, we go to a bench trial, or I got two options, right? A bench trial or a trial by jury of my peers.
Correct. Yep.
And that's how many peers? How many?
6.
6. And that's peers that I pick, or I guess.
So I'm going to sort of generally describe it. Basically what happens is we have a pool of jurors who are available in the county. Those jurors are picked randomly from that pool. A letter basically is sent out to them that says you have to appear for jury duty. I'm not sure how many we usually summon on misdemeanors. Do you remember off the top of your head? It's somewhere around 80, right? It's so 80 people. They come in to the courtroom, so it's not specifically picked that initial pool by anybody in particular. It's just randomized. Then on the day of the jury trial, we put 12 folks into the jury box. Sort of initially, you and Ms. Marsh would both have an opportunity to ask them questions. At the end of that period, let's say, just assuming it's the same 12 people, you'll have an opportunity to strike 3 of them for any reason. Ms. Marsh will have an opportunity to strike 3 of them for any reason. And then whichever ones the 2 of you didn't get rid of, those 6 would be the remaining jurors.
All right. What definition of peers are we using? I mean, like, I understand that there's many different definitions of peers. What are we using? The Black's law, or something that is cited in the what am I trying to say? The CRS, or in the definitions of CRS.
So I don't think there's a specific definition that's being used here. It really is just we send out the
So,
summons to individuals in the county who qualify for jury duty.
okay. And so if I don't enter a plea, you say you'll enter one for me?
Well, so it depends. I can enter one for you if, for example, the case is going on for a long time and nothing's getting done. And part of that is to protect your rights because we don't want the case to go on forever. But also everyone else has the requirement or, right to have this resolved expeditiously. I think at the last hearing, maybe not the last hearing, maybe back in April, I may have said that I would enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. That is a possibility. It is something that I can do and set the case for trial. So that is possible, essentially.
If you do that, what trial do you set it for? I mean, is that a bench trial or a jury trial?
I would give you the option, whichever one you preferred.
And that's with you entering the plea.
Correct, yeah.
Is that,
And to be very clear, the plea that I would enter is a not guilty plea. I would never enter a guilty plea on your behalf. I would never do that.
I thought that was, I expected the opposite out of my.
Okay, it would be a not guilty plea, yeah.
So let me get this right. You tell me I can remain silent, but then you demand a plea out of me. I don't understand that. And isn't, entering a plea from the bench, isn't that illegal? And I mean, I moved to dismiss this on jurisdictional, personal jurisdiction. Because that's personal jurisdiction. I moved to dismiss this on personal jurisdiction.